Following the reversal of Roe v. Wade and the stripping of reproductive rights from women all across the country, a Republican lawmaker from Utah said, well, she believes that it's not that big of a deal. Actually, women have a lot more control than they realize. They can control semen. It was an awkward moment during this press conference, but here's how she began her insane commentary. I got a text message today saying I should seek to control men's ejaculations and not women's pregnancies, said State Representative Karianne Lisonbee. She said it during this news conference, which we're about to watch a little bit of in just a moment. Now, she said the underlying tone of the message was that I certainly don't trust women enough to make choices to control their own body. And here's what came next.
My response is, I do trust women enough to control when they allow a man to ejaculate. So inside of them, and to control that intake of semen. So that may be inflammatory, but I think as a legislature, we have the responsibility to create a legal framework that is friendly and supporting rights.
Yeah, she's trying to be friendly and supporting rights, ladies. So if you're raw dogging it, just make sure that you control that intake of semen by getting him to pull out. Look, the commentary was so insane and so uncomfortable that I couldn't help but notice, Jessica, the people surrounding her. So real quick, one by one, let's take a look at the woman to the right of her. Let's take a look at that.
My response is, I do trust women enough to control when they allow a man to ejaculate. So inside of them, and to control that intake of semen. So that may be inflammatory.
My personal favorite was the man to the left of her.
Is I do trust women enough to control when they allow a man to ejaculate. So inside of them, and to control that intake of semen. So that may be inflammatory.
That's one of those, please kill me, I don't want to be here looks if I've ever seen one. But no, I lied. The actual best reaction to what she was saying was the man directly next to her, who, if you just watch closely, it's very subtle. He seems to shake his head, kind of like in disgust. So let's watch that.
My response is, I do trust women enough to control when they allow a man to ejaculate. So inside of them, and to control that intake of semen. So that may be inflammatory.
So not only does she make insane arguments, she fails to read the room as well, Jessica.
Has she ever had sex with a man? Allow a man to ejaculate? Does she think it's like Simon Says? I really just, I can't believe this commentary. And the thing is like, I don't want to take the bait and have this crude conversation, but I mean, the whole problem here is we've got a woman. Where's the accountability for men? Why is there a woman who is saying, oh, it's our responsibility to control when a man ejaculates? This is not serious political discourse in our country. This is not what I want to be talking about when I think about American politics and the great debates of our time. I would rather be talking about, how far in from the ocean are we putting the high-speed rail? How are we going to transition to clean energy? But instead, we are talking about allowing men to ejaculate and controlling that. It is actually disgusting. And this is absolutely about men's power over women in intimate relationships. And of course, will trans people with uteruses be affected by this? Yes, but a big part of this legislation has to do with traditional gender roles and enforcing them. And it sucks to see women like this affirming that it's our responsibility to control men's semen. This is insane. And I just want men to know in this moment right now, if we're on the topic of intimate relationships, I promise you, there are women all over the country. If you ever hope to date a woman, they are noticing that you're silent in this moment and you're allowing this kind of rhetoric to dominate our country's political discourse. And you've got to speak up. We are all paying attention.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I've seen a lot of progressive men on social media, like really speak out in defense of women's reproductive rights. And I have a lot of gratitude toward them and admiration toward their arguments. But what I think we're seeing with this particular story, crude as it might be, is a continuation of this ideology that always puts the onus on women, right? Like, so we're supposed to predict when the guy is about to, ejaculate. We're supposed to take control of that situation and what, right? Like it misses the fact that women shouldn't be placed in that situation in the first place, that women don't always have the kind of control she claims that women have. And then more importantly, it's none of the government's business what happens in our bedrooms, what we like to do intimately with our partners. It's none of their damn businesses. It's also not the government's job or the government's business to get in between us and our doctors to make decisions on our behalf in regard to what type of medical procedures we may have or we may need. This is just, again, the same ignorant continuation of women being at fault. The ideology that women are the ones who are at fault if they find themselves with an unwanted pregnancy, and that the government needs to jump in and prevent her from deciding what to do in response to that pregnancy. Again, it's not the government's choice. It shouldn't be the government's choice, but here we are with reactionaries and ideologues in the Supreme Court, unfortunately ensuring that this right-wing government has an overwhelming say in not just the medical decisions that we can make, our bodily autonomy as well, but also based on what our futures look like. Because having an unwanted pregnancy, being forced to carry out that unwanted pregnancy, has lifelong repercussions. They know it, but they don't really care.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.